Welcome back to the video game dungeon, idiots.
Everyone, and once again, welcome back to the video game dungeon. I am Commander Olrox, and today we're doing reviews from the dungeon, Resident Evil 7 Edition. I've had a lot of fear and dread leading up to this game, honestly. 4, 5, and 6 definitely changed up the pace of Resident Evil. That's when it obviously started to change to become a different game than what it was back in 1996. I give every Resident Evil a chance. I'm a huge fan of the series. I've played and finished every games, even the side games like Dead Aim, Survivor, Resident Evil Gaiden on the Game Boy. But that emotion in me when I found out that they were coming out with Resident Evil 7, after seeing what they did with 4, 5, and 6, don't get me wrong, I like the games, but they were definitely different style games. They had a different feel, obviously a more action-based or action-oriented feel. And to me, that took away from the survival horror aspect. But I gave Resident Evil 7 a try. I picked it up at 9 o'clock on Monday. Because I pre-ordered at GameStop, and for those who pre-ordered and are Pop Rewards members, you got to pick the game up at 9 o'clock. So I picked it up, I brought it home. I'm not going to lie, I was excited that the game was going to be too diluted, strayed too far away from what the original concept of Resident Evil was. And like I said, I got it, I came home, I started playing it. I'm like, okay, this is a great looking game, looks real good, you know, opening cutscene, little story about the wife sending the, spoiler alerts, warning there may be spoiler alerts in this video, but now that that's out of the way, it starts out with, you know, Ethan, the main character, getting the video from his wife explaining, I've been out on this babysitting job and it'll be over soon and I can finally come home to my husband, love you, and it's got that mushy feel to it. And then there's the next video of her looking all rough and, you know, messed up and fucking nasty looking, and she's, I should have never lied to you, you know, don't come here, you know, blah, blah, blah. I'm pretty much using reverse psychology on him. Obviously it's his wife, so he's already got that strong emotional connection. So, of course, he's going to go and try to find her. So, you know, you end up at the LV plantation. You're out in the woods. You make your way in. You know, you get into the first area. Then you run into the father. He's an interesting character. I think he's got a lot of personality. He definitely has that edge to him. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Otis from The Devil's Rejects and House of a Thousand Corpses, the Rob Zombie movie. But overall, I liked him as a character. I felt like he kind of just, that to me, I mean, I wasn't afraid, I didn't get scared, but for me, like, especially playing with the PlayStation VR, that definitely was a great experience. It definitely enhanced the gameplay. It never, like I said, back in '96, did I ever think that one day I'd be playing a virtual reality version of Resident Evil. To actually put myself in any game for one was a distant thought to me. You know, back then it's never something you think that would be possible. But back to the Resident Evil. I mean, as far as Jack, you know, he's the first character you run into as far as, you know, a psychopath or, you know, a boss type character, which obviously all of you out there played the demo, you know, you've encountered Jack. Very briefly, obviously, but, you know, you still see him, you know him. But anyway, you know, you're proceeding through this plantation. I mean, it's about, 3-4 areas. It's a pretty big map you're exploring. Obviously, it's got those classic, you know, Resident Evil puzzles. But the thing is to me, they were just super, super simple. At least in the Resident Evil puzzles, in the old Resident Evil games, I should say, those were those were decent mind benders. You had to think a little bit. I mean, there was maybe one puzzle in Resident Evil 7 that was kind of like, what the hell? Which was the happy birthday tape. So, for those of you who haven't played that far or whatnot, just wait till you get there. That's definitely a fun time. Then you run into Marguerite, the wife or the mother character. She controls the bugs. Really ugly looking, nasty old hag, but once again, she makes a good horror character, just like the father. I mean, it feels to me more like a horror movie, Texas Chainsaw Massacre type, that psychotic, cannibalistic killer family out there in the world, racking up bodies, one body at a fucking time. It had that feel to me. Like, I tried so fucking hard to have this feel like a Resident Evil game, and no matter how hard I tried, it just never happened for me. I remember being in the, back in the Arklay Mountains in Raccoon City in the Spencer Estate, just, what's around every corner, zombies. You found out about the Umbrella Corporation, just the story, the betrayal with Wesker, the tyrants, and it to me, that's where it started all. That's always been Resident Evil to me. But moving back to Marguerite, like, she was nasty. Like, when she transformed around like a fucking spider, and you had to shoot her in the fucking boom in the fucking vagina. I mean, sorry, Billy, I didn't mean to do that. Shoot her in the fucking nasty vagina to take her out, and I was like, that's extreme shit, but that's graphic, that's horror. And it was kind of like, wow, that's fucking gross. But then the story progresses, and then there's the son, Lucas. He's a real fucking idiot. He just seems like one of those dumb characters, but he tries to appear smart, but he's really just a psychopath all around. He's the one who does the happy birthday puzzle, sets up all these different trap mines, and, then you got, not only the family, you got the core basis for the game. Not only are you asking yourself, what the fuck happened to these people? Because obviously when you go into the house, you could see that the house was a lived-in house, that this family lived in this house, and then something went fucking horribly wrong. But the thing about that is it brings me to my next point, the fucking black goo, disgusting, nasty fucking funk laying all over the place. And then all of a sudden, when you start getting into the other portions of the house, you start going in the basement, fucking shit's everywhere, and all of a sudden these fucking monsters pop out. They're like, they remind me of the leech monster from Resident Evil, not 7, obviously, Resident Evil 0, but that's what it reminds me of, it's not. They're called the Molded. They're kind of like, they're a bitch to take out. You gotta blow their heads off or dismantle their body parts, and it's fucked. But they never explain what this is. They never tell you really much about anything as far as this virus or whatever the fuck it is. And once again, I'm still playing. I'm like, alright, something's gonna happen. It's gonna tie into Resident Evil. It's gonna fucking blow my mind. It's gonna be fucking great. I'm trying to keep hope alive here, even though all hope is pretty much fucking gone at this point. So I'm playing, I'm reading the little fucking articles or the files you find, just like in every staple for every Resident Evil, files and, notes and all that shit. And I'm reading them all, and I seen a couple little references to Resident Evil, like the Arklay Mountains picture, or the fucking book written by the Abyss. I can't remember his name, but he was the guy from Resident Evil Revelations. I mean, those were cool little tidbits, but I wanted something big. I wanted something fucking Resident Evil lore related to fucking hit me. So I'm playing, and I'm like, I gotta be damn near done with this fucking game by now. I've already taken out Marguerite. I've already taken out fucking the dad. And, I'm going through Lucas's little fucking puzzle bullshit maze. I make it through that. Fuck Lucas. We get the fucking, then all of a sudden you gotta make this fucking antidote. You make the fucking antidote, and then you're at the docks. You think it's the end of the fucking game, and it's like, okay, you got the girl that helped you, which is Zoe. She's one of the family. But she's like a more stable-minded individual. She actually isn't fucked in the head. But you gotta choose between giving it to your wife, Mia, and giving it to her. Obviously, I picked my wife. She's the reason I'm there. I have the strong emotional connection with her as an in-game character-to-character relationship. I mean, yeah, this girl helped me, but in the long run, who the fuck is she? I didn't come here for her. I came here to save Mia. So I pick Mia. All of a sudden, the girl gets all a little bit offended. And then she's like, okay, I understand, whatever. That's great. We get in this little fucking boat. We're going in the fucking swamp. And I'm like, all right, we're talking like, what the fuck happened here? She's, I don't remember. Try to remember. I can't. All of a sudden, come around this bend, this open area, and there's this big ass fucking yacht. Okay? This big fucking yacht sitting there in the middle of the swamp. And I'm like, how the fuck did this get here? So obviously, we got to go to the swamp. We go to find out. We're approaching the fucking yacht in the swamp. All of a sudden, this fucking giant monster comes out of the water. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Fall in the water, pass out, wake up as Mia. I'm walking along. All of a sudden, I see my body laying there unconscious on the fucking ground. Of course, you can't see my character's face. That's another thing I'll get to. She flips you over, or attempts to, and then that fucking nasty black shit swallows you up, carries you away. You make your way through the fucking ship. You get to the point where you go rescue Ethan. You get him back from the fucking nasty fuck mold. And then all of a sudden, now you're in these fucking salt mines, okay? You're down in the salt mines. You're looking, you're going, you're exploring, waiting to see what the fuck's going to happen. And all of a sudden you're going. And then, keep in mind, too, one key thing I forgot to mention is there's this little fucking girl, and she's the one who seems to be generating this nasty fucking whatever it is. She's vomiting this shit up, and then the fucking vomit is spreading, and it's generating these fucking molded creatures. All of a sudden, you find out that Mia, my wife, really went out to this place on this yacht. She was a part of this experiment with this little girl. And you're thinking the whole time, Umbrella Corp. That's what I was thinking. Okay, it's the Umbrella Corporation. They're back for the fucking third time or whatever the fuck. I mean, you got Tricell, Umbrella, obviously, Neo Umbrella. How many more incarnations are they going to have of the Umbrella Corporation? So the little girl is, infecting this ship. Obviously, that's what happened to the ship. The ship fucking crashed because they couldn't contain the little girl. She was just decimating the fucking crew. Meanwhile, Mia's trying to build this relationship as the mom with the girl, and she's like, well, I can't be your mother. Then the girl flips the fuck out, okay? The ship crashes. Long story short, the family ends up finding the ship. He finds the little girl. He brings the little girl back to their house. The little girl infects them, takes control because she wants this family unit. So she takes control of them, and that's how they became fucked in the head and, able to be transformed into the fucking tyrant form. So the little girl, come to find out, starts to age rapidly, and they're like, okay, well, her skin's wrinkled. She's got long white hair. She's a fucking, she's turning old. We don't know what's going on, but intermittently throughout the game, if you play the demo, you see the old lady in the wheelchair, and I'm like, son of a bitch, that little girl's been in that house the whole time, and this is who we're trying to take out. So you end up coming across her in the fucking back in the house once you get out of the salt mines and all that bullshit, and there's the boss fight with the father and his main tyrant form, and there's just all these boss fights along the way. You fight the dad a couple times, obviously. You fight the mom, you fight once when she transforms, but other than that, she's just pursuing you through the house, and you're just trying to get away from her. And the son was just a fucking goddamn kidnapper, just lured you in and tried to pretty much set you up to fail and get killed in his little fucking trap house. But, so you end up finding the old lady, you get this serum along the way. You inject the serum into, scratch that, but you find her, you inject the serum, and then she just stands up in agony and she just starts fucking melting. And then all of a sudden, she fucking transforms into this massive fucking tyrant. All of a sudden, you're in the house and she's like coming at you. You just gotta fucking keep repeatedly blowing her fucking face off. I kept shooting her in her eyes because when I'd shoot her in her fucking eyes, they would shut. And maybe she stopped moving briefly. I don't fucking know. But They knock you out of the house. She fucking comes out of the house all massive, and you're just shooting her in the fucking face. And then there's that classic Resident Evil moment. It finally happened. The Resident Evil moment. So I'm like, all right, this is going to be fucking epic, okay? This helicopter comes in. The classic, here, take this. You know, it's not a rocket launcher. It's some fucking wild weapon. I'll let you experience that for yourself. But you kill the fucking tyrant. The helicopter lands. This SWAT-style looking person comes out of the helicopter, takes their fucking helmet off, and he's like, hi, I'm Redfield. We got you now, or something along those lines. And I'm like, Redfield? I'm like, for one, that don't look like fucking Chris. I hope that's not Chris, because that looks nothing like him. Unless that's the new age Resident Evil 7 reincarnation of Chris Redfield. And I'm thinking, another thing is in the article it said 16 years since the Resident Evil or Raccoon City outbreak. I could have sworn the game it said some of the tapes were labeled for 2017. January 19th, maybe, if I'm not mistaken. But Resident Evil incident, I could have swore that happened in 96. I know the game came out in 96, and I'm pretty sure they set the incident in 96 in the Arclay Mountains. And they said 16 years. I'm like, well, wouldn't that technically be 26 years? So the timeline's fucked up. So I'm like, all right, well, I see this Redfield person. I mean, Senpai_Mike told me that in the credits they say that's Chris Redfield, but I'm like, I refuse to believe that. On IGN, they're like, this mysterious Redfield, is it a family member? I'm like, it definitely can't be a kid because the timeline don't fit. And if it is a fucking relative, that's strange. I'm like, okay, cool mystery, Redfield character. Maybe we'll find out one day who the fuck he really is. So, in the meantime, he gets you on the helicopter. My wife Mia's on there. They ended up saving her. We're rescued. We're leaving. As the helicopter's leaving, it says 2 key words, Umbrella Corporation, on the side with a same umbrella style looking emblem, but it's different. If you played Resident Evil Umbrella Corps, it's actually the same logo as that one, but it's purple instead of fucking red. So this Redfield character is working for Umbrella, and I'm just like, damn. Fucking damn. You didn't explain what this shit is. You didn't explain what happened to this little girl, or how she became the monster she was. You don't say who this Redfield character is. You wait till the last 5 minutes of the game to put in the Resident Evil tie-in, and that's it. I was pretty fucking angry. I mean, the little Resident Evil tie-in was cool, but I was like, what the fuck? This is a survival horror game with slight Resident Evil undertones. This should not be called Resident Evil 7. Don't get me wrong, the game was great as a horror or survival horror game, but as a Resident Evil game, I was like, what the fuck, Capcom? But I went ahead, I finished it, I gave it a chance. I watched the credits. After the credits roll, there's, free spring DLC with this Redfield character called I'm Not a Hero or something like that. I'm like, well, hopefully this answers the question, at least of who this Redfield person is, and maybe some backstory into what that black nasty shit was. The fucking gook everywhere. I don't know what the fuck it was. Like, it was... I didn't know what to think. So I was like, alright, well, I guess I'll have to wait till spring 2017 to find out more. In the meantime, I give the game overall a 7, only because it was a good survival horror game, and what little Resident Evil tidbits they put into it were pretty good. But I give it a solid. I'm going to go on a limb and say a solid 9 as a survival horror game, and as far as a Resident Evil game, a 2. Alright, everybody, that's my official review on Resident Evil 7. Oh, and by the way, people online, it's a 10-plus hour game. I beat it in 8. I'm like, this is kind of fucking disappointing, to be honest. But anyway, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, leave in the comments below any theories you have of what you've seen in Resident Evil 7 or what you thought of it yourself. Thanks again for watching. See you next time on the Video Game Dungeon.